Hello there and welcome to Legal Break. I'm Maureen Akers and with us today is Gary Bruce of Gary Bruce Law. Thank you so much for joining us, Gary.
Good to be here again.
Every Wednesday it is.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
We're here talking about the topics of the day. Something that's been in the news, fair amount of times are these 18-wheelers maybe, I guess hitting people, hitting cars, hitting motorcycles, such. We've just learned about the actor Tracy Morgan is just now coming back after his accident.
Right.
What do we do and how often do these accidents happen, and then what do we do if that, gosh forbid we're involved in that?
Well, my daughter, when she was 16, used to say, why do you always talk to me about being careful and worrying about these things? And she says, the only reason you do it is because you see it all the time. And she's right. I mean, unfortunately, we see these things happen all the time. So it does worry me and trouble me, and we have to keep our due diligence, particularly if you're on a motorcycle, it's hard to see. Right. A bicycle, we got to be really careful. We have no protection. There aren't any minor wrecks when they involve those kind of vehicles. So it is terrible when we hear about these things happen. There's good truck drivers and bad truck drivers. We're dealing with human beings. Right. It's like anything. There's good lawyers and bad lawyers, and sometimes these trucks need to make a move, and they'll just, as you know, they'll pull out, say, "I'm bigger than you, slow down." But so that's why we got to be careful and diligent on our side. But unfortunately, these things happen.
Well, now, on that note, how difficult is it to prove the driver of one of these big rigs liable if there is an accident?
Well, it's actually gotten a little bit easier with technology. Okay. But I think lawsuit is where you end up going with these things, because that's where you get full disclosure. I can ask you for let's say you run the trucking company, for all your data, your black box, your video, if you have cameras, the GPS tracking, internal documents that relate to your where you've been and where you're going, your logs. Right. But you're not going to give them to me unless I sue you. And so through the courts, we do get access to these things, and that's really the tools we use as lawyers. Any kind of big rig kind of situation, a corporate defendant situation, I recommend just file a lawsuit. There's no point in just discussing it. Yeah.
So then what happens, like in the case of Tracy Morgan, the truck that hit him was with a big company, Walmart. And so what do you do when there's a big company involved?
They're all big companies. Okay. It's whether they're insured by a big company or a Walmart. Yeah. And they get to the scene immediately with their experts. They document things, and the police do too. This stuff becomes available. Right. And we hire our own experts. So you have to fight fire with fire generally, really, but in the end, it's human beings making decisions, and that's what we explore through the litigation process.
There you go. To find out more, Gary Bruce, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you on the very next Legal Break.